How could one average IQ, not so good looking, sloppy high school boy become a god? Well, he couldn't, and he didn't. Light Yagami is methodical, handsome, and off the chart genius, and he did. So, what do you think the philosophy that can change one from a loving brother, a perfect son, to a narcissistic, manipulative, ubermensch, manic god? Yagami Light from Death Note undergoes a drastic transformation that took him from the pretty perfect high school kid to the most cunning, most manipulative wannabe god high school student you'll ever see. A kid committing the most horrendous, ruthless, countless homicides single-handedly while eating chips. 5 simple steps, 1 immoral Italian philosopher, and 1 tiny book. He definitely did not wrote with this intent. Following the laws of Machiavelli dictated in his book, The Prince, the arc of Yagami Light becoming Kira makes perfect sense. Everyone seems to be talking about this unethical philosopher Niccolò Machiavelli. But who is he, really? And is he actually that bad? Well, for me, you can think of him as the Italian Yagami Light, a top-tier student who's bored with life until he finds the Death Note, a notebook that can kill anyone just by writing his name. He decides to use it to build a crimeless world by wiping out all criminals. Step by step, he identifies as justice and eventually as God. Well, one might not see the connection to a political philosopher from the 13th century. In his book, The Prince, Niccolò Machiavelli provides rules advising the prince on how to acquire and maintain political power. He analyzes different types of states and offers the best way to rule them, highlighting the mistakes that brought down states like the Roman Empire, the Italian city-state, and others, to teach the prince what to do and what not to do. And Yagami Light, in this case, finds that very useful, as from the very beginning of the anime, he quickly adapts with the power he acquired stumbling upon the Death Note. Giving it a test on a couple of scumbag low-life criminals, realizing the true power in his hands, he started painting the face of God, a God that kept killing criminals until everyone noticed him. The statement was clear: God is here, He is watching. He does not need your love. He does not need you to be good to your neighbor. He just needs you to shiver upon hearing his name. But Light wasn't satisfied and immediately creates a vision of an entire new world. He stops being a high school student and becomes a myth, a god that has stopped hiding, and he started using fear to force the world to change its behavior. He doesn't ask nicely. He became a symbol by spreading fear in the name of justice.
I am justice!
It is better to be feared than loved. Now, one rule every leader must follow to reach the top. That's Machiavelli's favorite move. Machiavelli emphasizes that effective leadership requires realism more than idealism. A ruler must be willing to use deceit, manipulation, and force when necessary. He most importantly advised it is better for a prince to be feared than loved. Machiavelli would definitely be so proud, as the Death Note itself is not that powerful without his guidance, as we see multiple times when some clown Kira tries to use it. It is the Machiavellian mask that makes Light dangerous. the flawless image of kindness and virtue. Minus L, Light is untouchable. He is the perfect son, the perfect student, and the perfect liar. Always staying 10 steps ahead, going as far as giving up the death note and forgetting everything, joining the task force, hunting himself, working hand in hand with L. By day, Yagami Light is the golden boy, polite, nice to his family, top of his class, going at life, earning the admiration of everyone. But when the sun goes down, Kira wakes up, doing God's work. Machiavelli said it best: a ruler must appear full of mercy, honesty, and virtue, but be ready to unleash cruelty when the moment demands it. Light keeps a shining facade, appearing to be perfect all the time, smiling at you while writing your name. And that's Machiavelli's advice. Now all of that was the perfect setup leading to the crucial point. But what follows next is a sharp turning point for the character of Light before fully becoming Kira. Naomi Mizora, a former FBI agent, smart, skeptical, very close to exposing him, destroying everything he's trying to build. Being the Machiavelli he is, Light does not panic, he does not run, he smiles, keeps the facade as usual, playing the innocent boy to gain her trust. A game of chess. Step by step, he guides and corners the smart FBI agent toward her own death. No hesitation, no remorse. The job is done, but this time is different. The victim is not a criminal. She is not evil. She is just an obstacle, and for Machiavelli, that is more than enough. Light tells himself that no sacrifice is greater than a crime-free world. But now, Light is no longer the boy who only kills the guilty. Now he kills anyone who threatens the utopia he's trying to build. This marks the first cold, premeditated murder of a complete innocent. Before Naomi's death, Kira was somehow tamed, but now he is fully unleashed. It does not matter how many people die, as long as the world Kira envisions becomes a reality. If the outcome is in favor of the great good, the method does not matter. But even with all of that, a perfect prince would remain incomplete, and most certainly no god. Ultimately, Machiavelli separates ethics from politics, praising what works rather than what is moral. What makes Light most dangerous is the power of being one moment away between the laughing, charming face to the immoral, lethal, on-demand god. That's the perfect balance, Machiavelli advised the prince. Put in the mask, you almost believe him, but the moment the FBI start to close in, he drops off the act. He moves fast, brutal, efficient, not in rage, but precision. This is the fox-lion balance Machiavelli talks about. Clever, controlled, seamlessly setting traps and moving people like pawns, positioning others and himself exactly where he wants to be, wearing a trustworthy smile. Yagami Light is the embodiment of this Machiavelli rule. Using force, deception, and political cunning is highly advised by Machiavelli, but Light learned from him much more than this. Machiavelli attributed the fall of states to one common reason. Light pretty much uses everyone around him like pawns while maintaining a personal dependency. He only relies on himself. Everyone is disposable. For the prince, as Yagami lied, everyone is no more than just a tool, so use them as needed. Enter Misa Amani, obsessed lover that would do anything for him. She is basically begging to be used by Kira, and without hesitation, Kira delivers. She is a lover with the Shinigami eyes. With her power and love, she became the perfect useful tool. A tool to change the game in his favor, all while being a traumatized girl, longing for being loved, believing she's someone he cares about. But for Light, he was just a disposable, meanwhile useful tool. A tool to be used with no hesitation, as every other tool, and the moment she becomes a liability, a sacrifice is always necessary. No guilt, no remorse. Collateral, replaceable, and disposable. But now you might be wondering if Machiavelli is truly the cunning master everyone talks about. What really went wrong? And I would say that Light made a couple of mistakes. True Machiavellian prince acts out of calculation, not pride, pragmatism, not ego. Light was driven by his ego several times, leading him to taunt L, toy with the task force, and take unnecessary risks to prove his intellect. These ego-driven actions violate Machiavelli's doctrines. As much as we love Light, his adaptability game is weak. While initially flexible, he becomes rigid in his methods, and after he kills L, Nier and M exploited this weakness. All of this aside, what was the real moment that started his downfall? For the naive viewer, this might seem like a victory. From a Machiavellian point of view, on the other hand, the fall is set in motion the moment Light kills L, as he no longer has a worthy opponent, someone to keep him cautious and sharp, someone he admits and admires his intelligence. Forward in the story, Kira drifts slowly from the rules of Machiavelli, reaching the point of trusting someone, and that is a red Machiavellian flag. Though Mikami did not betray Kira, trusting a pawn is a non-Machiavellian losing move. Now, tying all the loose ends, we must go back to the moment we kept hanging before. The utopia that Light kills to protect is a mask we could peek beneath in the second episode when Kira killed the fake L. Killing for the utopia is a rule made by Light, but when Kira takes control, killing becomes for whomever threatens his ego. So what if we look at Yagami Light and Kira as two different personalities? This take comes from the self-discrepancies in many of the actions of whatever you call this. I was wrapping up the video with this semi-cliffhanger, but then I had a question some of you most definitely are having by now. To answer this question objectively, I am going to consolidate Machiavelli's philosophy in one line. So if we brought up all Machiavellian rules, removed the general ones aside, you can notice that all of these rules are about controlling what people see, what information they can and cannot have. So Machiavelli, having the Death Note, would most importantly focus on hiding himself. A Machiavellian ego is not about being worshipped and hailed by everyone. Machiavellian ego lives in silence in the shadows of being unknown. Machiavelli would not have a reckless start like Light. He would not enter any ego game. He would hide after the first test, calculating everything before making any move, not using the heart attack COD more than the statistics. He absolutely would not fall for the fake L silly trap. And most certainly he would not have a shameful end like Kira.